The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome to the show, everyone, today. Hope that you had a beautiful week and that you are looking forward to this holiday season we're getting ready to step into. Today, we're going to be talking about stepping into your personal power, and as you do that, shining and soulmates. So it's going to be a really rich conversation that we'll have today on some of my personal favorite subjects. So I really invite all of you to lean in and listen and really have the intention of gaining insight or a piece of information that can help you step forward a little bit deeper into your own personal power and gifts and talents and abilities and in your relationships. I have two amazing guests today, both experts in their fields and industry. I have Nola Hennessy, joining us today. Nola, I welcome you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here, Rebecca.
Glad to have you. And we also have Kathleen Sims joining us as well. Kathleen, welcome.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks, Rebecca.
And I wanted to start our conversation today really thinking about personal power and particularly choice. I was teaching a class this past weekend called Your Success Formula, and it's one of my higher level courses where we really roll up our sleeves in a very intimate setting to really help each person that joined us develop their own formula for success. And one of the critical pieces of that is choice, a willingness to lean in and discover how we each tick and how we operate in our most effective way. And then learning that, how are we going to choose to live our life on purpose and with purpose, even with the constraints we may have, and really looking at our time and our energy and our resources. And one of the trends I saw in this class, and it's one that I myself was very familiar with in the journey that I had to go through to really become empowered, was this resistance, this I can't because I have this limitation or this regulation or this boundary or that boundary. And they kept focusing back on that limitation. And I did the same thing when I was looking at trying to shift things. I kept looking at what I couldn't do or where there was a boundary. And because it was there, therefore I could never make a change. I couldn't do anything differently because that boundary is what it is. And as long as I was staring at the boundary and I kept putting my energy into it that way, you're right. It's true. It's hard to really make a shift and a change. And it almost takes this stepping back a little bit and saying, okay, that being what it is, I understand there's a wall there or there's a boundary there. So I probably can't go straight through it. But I have this whole hallway. I have this this other part of the room, these other ways I can look at things where I do have choice. And sometimes it's just a choice of our attitude and how we're going to respond to something that happens to us. Sometimes it's a choice about how we spend our time and our energy. And so what I invite you to do as we go through our time together is really think about how and where you're making choices. And if you're not liking some of the results you're getting, you're not liking some of what's happening in your life, I invite you to lean into that a little bit with curiosity, not with frustration, but curiosity to see, where can I perhaps make a shift? Where can I choose to feel or think or behave a little bit differently in this? What do I have choices in? And when we were able to make that shift in that class, when I was able to make that shift in my life, that's when I was able to start, in a sense, playing a different game. And I could see the possibilities, and I could move into them actually in a way where I was playing to how I was wired, to my strengths, and I became more effective and more efficient in all that I did, and I actually had more energy. So my desire for you today, all of our listeners, is to discover some of that for yourself. As we're looking at your personal power, we're looking at your choices in that, and we're looking at your relationships. I want you empowered. I want you to look at where you can make shifts and changes and choices in that, not necessarily just where you're stuck or you can't, or where the boundary is. We get that that's there, but let's shift our energy to how we can move forward or move in the direction we're called, not just where we're stuck. So with that, I'd like us to take a moment and go into our hearts. For those of you who are driving, please be safe. Keep your eyes open, hands on the wheels, or wheel, I should say. But those of you who are at a place where it's safe, please put down your feet on the floor, both feet. Kind of ground yourself. You can stand or sit. Put one hand on your heart, the other hand on your head. Kind of bringing your mind, body, and soul into connection, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Kind of grounding and open yourself up. And here's what I would invite you to lean into, to ask of yourself. In that quiet space between breaths, what is it you need today? What is it that would empower, support, encourage you and on your journey, in your walk, and relationship to yourself and your personal power, in relationships? Listen to the answer. The first thing that kind of comes forward, your heart, your mind. Sometimes it's a thought, a feeling, a picture. And I invite you to actually capture that. If you can write a quick note, a word, a thought to capture that moment. Because when we have clarity on what we need, it's easier for us to recognize it when it's coming towards us. It's easier for us to listen in and lean in and receive what we need. And I want that for each of you. And guests, I wondered if you would mind sharing something that came to your heart or mind in that moment. And Kathleen, I thought I'd start with you.
Oh, great. Thank you. The thought that came to my mind was that to remember that I matter. And thinking it's so deep within our nature to need to know that we matter. And when things occur and we get pulled here and there, we get pulled away from our center. And when we're back into our center, we remember that we matter. Right along with what you were talking about purpose. It's right in me. It's not around me or away from me or out there. It's in me.
Beautiful. Thank you. That we matter. Nola, how about you? Did you have a thought or a picture that came to mind during that moment as well?
My initial thought, and it's something that's been actually on my mind for the better part of the day, has been that people need to forgive each other. And when I observe what's going on around me in New York City, there's a lack of connection between people. And I think forgiveness is one of those things that people can practice to establish connection. But in reality, forgiveness has to be founded on truth. So if the parties to the forgiveness aren't speaking truth or aren't living truth, in other words, if they're living a lie, then forgiveness is very hard. But truth, honesty, and feeding from that integrity is absolutely critical for people to maintain and to forego the desire to, sacrifice truth to maintain something that isn't worth maintaining anymore.
Thank you. So that truth and honesty tied with forgiveness is a really powerful way to stay in connection and connected with each other.
Yes, absolutely.
And I like how you were tying in that, but there's a little bit of a boundary and a choice there too. So I appreciated that as well. Thank you. For myself, it's really this choice of how you can live your life on purpose. I believe each of you are a beautiful gift of great value. And I want you to be seen. I want you to share your gifts and your talents and your abilities with all of the people around you. And you just never know how you may affect another life because you're willing to share a piece of you. There was a show that I did earlier this month. I think it was on October 8th, if I'm remembering my dates correctly. And each of us had become a motivational speaker, and we all specialized in working with people and touching lives in different ways, but really motivated to take the stage and share a message that way as well. And as we reflected back on our journeys and some of those pivotal choice points where we were touched and got to make a choice with that connection, we could all trace it back to hearing a motivational speaker speak. And most of us, I think actually all of us, it was in a large audience. We were one of the members, and that person who shared the message, and we couldn't even remember the details of it, but how they were and what they shared so powerfully impacted us that it changed a course and how we responded to that for what we're doing, and had led us, part of what led us on our path to step into that space. And when we reflected back, that person probably never even knew they had touched our life in that way, that we were even in the audience. And as we reflected on that, and I'm still reflecting on that, I want us to stay encouraged in our walk and in what we're doing and what we're called to share, and the wisdom that we each have in those pieces placed on our heart, because it makes a profound difference. We just don't always get to see the direct fruit of what we're planting, the seeds that we're sharing, the wisdom that we're giving to others in our life and to the world. But I want to assure you, if it's coming from that place of your call and your gift to share, it will never ever come back empty. And it makes a profound difference. So I want you to breathe into that. Remember that you matter. That true connection does take honesty and truth and forgiveness even within ourselves. And as we're leaning into our commercial break, I invite you to sit in this space a little bit. Take those couple minutes to reflect and see, again, what is it you need this week, today, during this show, to empower and encourage you on your journey. And we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Join Rebecca Hall Gruyter this fall for a Women's Enrichment Retreat, November 13th, 14th, and 15th at the beautiful Westminster Retreat Center in Alamo, California, in San Francisco's East Bay Area. Take time for you and step into your vision in a powerful and sustainable way. This is an all-inclusive retreat in a beautiful and nourishing environment, giving you plenty of time to relax, decompress, and refresh, while having the opportunity to connect with yourself and other heart-centered women on a deep level. To find out more, visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/WER.
You have the power within to achieve anything, be it wealth, balance in your life, getting over your fears and roadblocks, and creating a positive impact on the world. Let Darby Mack show you how on the Powerful, Passionate, Prosperous Woman Show. Darby will bring you the tools and tips that you need to make it all happen with engaging guests and topics that will help you make your dreams come true. The Powerful, Passionate, Prosperous Woman Show is heard live every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, noon Eastern Time on Voice America Empowerment.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Build your better business. Achieve that goal. Make good on that resolution. The Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that opportunity to pause, lean in, listen, and reflect. I think we get so busy in our life that we don't always remember to pause and listen. And I want to actually give you a quick tip on that, especially as we're looking at heading into the holidays, and sometimes it can feel like you're pulled a million directions as things and schedules shift a little bit with the holiday season. When you feel like you're pulled a million directions, that you can't do one more thing, you almost feel like you're stretched to that point of breaking, that's the moment you most need to pause and breathe, even if it's for 1 minute. And take a breath and choose consciously how you want to be in that next moment. And it will profoundly support you in not being pulled as many directions. It'll give you clarity, a little bit of peace and calming in just 1 minute to shift that moment. Well, I'm really excited to have a deeper conversation with one of our guests today. We're going to talk with Kathleen Sims at a little deeper level, and we're going to dig in about soulmates and learn from her and her expertise how she can support us in this area in connecting with our soulmates and in relationships and love. But let me tell you a little bit more about Kathleen. She's the president of LifetimeLoveConnection.com. She's a premier relationship educator and has a consulting firm. She's the founder of Center for Conscious Living, or Conscious, actually help me there, Kathleen, Center for, I want to say it correctly.
Conscious Living.
Conscious Living. Oh, I did. Okay, good. Thank you. She's a speaker, a powerful speaker, a co-author 4 times of #1 best-selling personal growth books, an expert in this arena, has over 25 years experience in empowering singles and couples in attracting and maintaining deep love in their lives. So it is my privilege and honor to officially welcome you to the show, Kathleen.
Well, thanks so much.
And I love to start with my favorite question as we are digging in here. I love to know, Kathleen, why this work of empowering people and singles in this way around love and soulmates. Why is that personally so powerful, important, and meaningful to you?
Yeah, it's very deeply meaningful to me because of an experience that I had when I was 16 years old. I was in high school, of all things, planning on going on to college, not planning on getting married or having a family anyway soon. And I was sitting in the cafeteria, and I looked across the room, and I saw a guy that I knew with another guy that I did not know. And I had this intense clairvoyant experience about the guy that I didn't know, that I was already married to him, and I was living in a house with a white picket fence, married to him with 2 kids and a dog. And I didn't know what was happening to me. It was like this bubble came down over me and inside of me, and this picture came in front of me, and the picture was as if it had already happened. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, I wished it would happen, I hope it would happen, having a dream. It was energetically as if it had already happened. And I'd never had anything happen to me like that before, so I didn't know what was happening. And I was compelled, I couldn't even stop myself, I was compelled to act out of it as if it had already happened. And I'm embarrassed to admit that I was ruthless and found out what hall he went down and what his friends were and where he parked his car and where he lived and where he worked. I mean, everything about him that I could. And everywhere he turned, I showed up and got this other friend that he was with to set me up on a blind date. And before I was 18, I was married and had a child and a dog and bought a house with a white picket fence.
To this very same man?
To this very same man, exactly. To this very same man. The guy didn't have a chance. I didn't tell him what happened to me because I thought he wouldn't believe it and because I didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. And I spent the next 15 years living deeply in the question, what was that? How did that happen? What does it mean? I don't understand. And I did a lot of study, research, meditation, and I was only 17 years old, with a couple of kids there. And about 15 years later, it all came together for me about what soulmates are and what had happened to me and how could something like that happen intentionally to other people. And actually, from on high, this system channeled through me about how people could attract soulmates, and the realization that who I was with was, in fact, my soulmate. And I opened my business and started teaching other people how to attract a soulmate out of that experience.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know all of that about you. I really appreciate learning that. And you being willing to share. That's really, really beautiful and powerful. And you touched on this a little bit, but I want people to understand at a deeper level a little bit more of your background and expertise. And it's really, how did you learn so much about soulmate and relationships? I know that you reflected and studied, you channeled this system and information, but do you mind expanding on that a little bit?
It definitely has been. I've been doing this work for 28 years, and I have to say that it's an ongoing evolutionary process and still moving forward is evolving for me. The deeper layers of understanding about soulmates and twin flames and everlasting love and that sort of thing. And then my marriage of 40 years, I was with my husband for 40 years until he suddenly passed away. We lived our relationship like an experiment, particularly the last 20 years. We lived sort of the first 15 or 20 like Ozzie and Harriet. And the last 20, 25 years, like an evolutionary love process with lots of realizations about what soulmates are, which my definition of a soulmate is somebody who has a complementary purpose to yours. And Jim and I were a great example of that. He took care of everything around the house for like the kids and the house, and he worked also. He took care of everything so that I could go out in the world and teach about love based on our partnership. So it looked like he was doing things like cutting the lawn, but he really was my full-fledged partner in my work. And one of the last thing he said to me before he passed away actually was, he hugged me for like 2 minutes, and he said, other people need to have experienced the kind of love that we have, and I don't know very many people who have experienced this kind of love. And 30 minutes later, he dropped dead of a heart attack. And it's that depth that was discovered layer by layer, not in a moment, layer by layer, looking more deeply in the evolution of who I am and him looking at who he was, and then us coming together in this empowering way where I empowered him to do what was right for him, and he did likewise for me. And we both felt like we were teaching love in the universe.
Thank you for sharing that special moment with us and your commitment together of layer by layer as you experience and learn, being willing to bring that forward and share that with the world. It's really beautiful, rich work, and I just want to honor, appreciate, and thank you.
Thank you.
And I know that you put together an amazing gift, and we have just a couple minutes or a minute and a half to break, and I would love to have you share a little bit about your gift with us today.
Yes, I have. As you said earlier, I have co-authored 4 #1 bestsellers that are personal growth books to support people. And I excerpt a few things from those books and put it together into an ebook. And it's called Manifesto Soulmate. And it's an introduction to soulmate love and how one can start doing their inner work to begin that process. And the process is about doing our inner work and shifting our vibration. So we start attracting a different quality people to us and relationship around us. And this is a great beginning step on your path, and it's a free ebook from my heart to yours.
Thank you. And I'm pausing because, listeners, I want you to feel that heart energy that she's really putting this together to share some of her very heart with each of you. And I want you to lean in. We're getting ready to go to our next break here. And I will share with you when you come back from break at the very end of the show how to get this rich gift that Kathleen is so generously making available to you. We'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
We're on Facebook along with some of the greatest minds of the world, and that includes you. Visit us on Facebook at Voice America Empowerment.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Join Rebecca Hall Gruyter this fall for a Women's Enrichment Retreat, November 13th, 14th, and 15th at the beautiful Westminster Retreat Center in Alamo, California, in San Francisco's East Bay area. Take time for you and step into your vision in a powerful and sustainable way. This is an all-inclusive retreat in a beautiful and nourishing environment, giving you plenty of time to relax, decompress, and refresh, while having the opportunity to connect with yourself and other heart-centered women on a deep level. To find out more, visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/WER.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your commercial break, got to stretch a little bit, lean into the powerful information that we were learning about soulmates and Kathleen's story and beautiful gift that she's making available to us. And I wanted to shift gears a little bit here and focus on personal power and really digging into our next expert's thoughts and wisdom about this subject. So let me tell you a little bit about our next guest. Nola is a speaker, and she's passionate about making a positive difference. She has a track record of consistently raising and rising to senior positions in different organizations, and now leads a global firm to facilitate peace and positive change in the world. She's received numerous awards, among them the Rotary International Inspirational Woman of the Year, and really has an amazing depth, perspective, and insight around helping people connect in a powerful way. So Nola, I welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Now, Nola, I would like to start our questions with my favorite question, which really revolves around why this work of making a positive difference on a global level is personally so important to you.
I've always been a change agent, Rebecca, and when I felt a shift in my priorities about 13 years ago, and as a result of a significant spiritual journey that I undertook, I felt that there was a need for me to create an entity through which I could make some change that was centered around what I wanted to do, rather than always doing what other people wanted to do and using me as the instrument for their change. So in writing my books, they then became the foundation for what my now corporate structure is about. And Serenidad Consulting Serenidad is a Spanish word. It means serenity, and that was the name of a property of mine, acreage that I had. And when I created a corporate structure, that naturally became the name of the company. And my books are about empowerment. They're inspirational books that help people to heal themselves and find their true purpose if they choose to do that. And also allow people to sort of remove the boundaries that they set and that other people set that limit what they can achieve in their lives. The other key messages in all of my books are about positive relationships and peaceful relationships. And that's because of what is, a consistent humanitarian kind of fault, is that there are power and control struggles that are occurring everywhere all the time. And people need to understand that they only control themselves. Fundamentally, an adult should not attempt to control another adult. So when people back off that negative use of their personal power, they'll actually improve their relationships megafold.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us your why and a little bit of your journey and some of the tools that you have created to serve and support. And I love that comment and way of describing yourself as a change agent. I really like that. And you touched on personal power a little bit. Would you mind explaining your definition of what you mean by personal power?
There are multiple definitions for personal power, and when we look at what a dictionary says it is, that is part of the all-encompassing definition of personal power. But power itself arises from an entity or a being. An entity then has a position, so then you grow from personal power to positional power. But when we're talking about personal power, that is something that is in that person, cannot be taken from that person, and is unique and special, and can be, once it's recognized, can be harnessed very carefully and used in positive ways. The issue for humanity is when people use their personal power and they know that they have power and they know how to channel it, when they use it in negative ways, because that becomes very destructive. And we see positive uses of personal power every day in people being compassionate, forgiving, sharing, listening, actively listening. And we see negative uses of personal power every day when people commit road rage, or they dismiss by making assumptions, or they are physically cruel, mentally cruel to somebody else. So, a negative application of power is so blatant that most people recognize it. A lot of people don't necessarily remove the negative use of personal power from their repertoire. They continue to do that. But that ultimately, when we talk about choices, that's ultimately each human's choice. So personal power is the energy that comes from within, and it's also the application and how we use that energy that comes from within. And we can channel that negatively or positively.
So could you give us just a couple of quick examples? Because I know it was easy to identify sometimes that negative use. Do you mind giving just maybe 3 examples of the positive use, something that people can be looking for or an expression of that?
Okay, what I'll do is pick age groups. So if a positive application of power by a child would be comforting somebody when they're hurting. Mm-hmm. So showing true care and compassion and empathy. And you often see that in children, because children are born as blank tapes, and so the negative applications of power are things that they learn. And the more that we focus on positive interactions between people, the better we are. When we think about a positive and personal power, positive use of power by an adult in a domestic situation, you would see a husband and a wife sitting and discussing something without arguing. They would be listening to each other. They would be paraphrasing back so the other knows that they understand what's being said, and they will reach a conclusion that is either, mutually something they agree on, or if it's not mutually agreed, they compromise. So that's about positive application of personal power by both parties. If we think about an adult in the workplace, positive power manifests in making sure that human resource management policies are about keeping people safe and their well-being at premium, where people are valued and seen as an asset to an organization rather than a liability and a cost. So that's a very powerful way, to use personal power in a workplace situation. And obviously each individual, if a manager is supervising somebody, they would act out that policy by treating their people appropriately, listening to them, valuing them, making sure that they are safe and well in the workplace and that risks are minimized.
Great. Thank you. I
hope
appreciate
those
you.
Examples help.
Yeah, they did. Thank you for expanding on that a little bit. I appreciate it. And I wanted to just dig into this a little bit deeper and really look at what is a question, or maybe one of the most empowering questions someone could ask themselves in empowering and moving in that positive direction.
People need to look in the mirror and actually ask themselves, what do I want? What do I really want? And when we think about the hierarchy of needs, for instance, if people have their basic needs satisfied, then they can get to the very strategic, important wants in life. And if they don't know what they really want at that given point in time, and they don't commit to working towards that outcome, then they won't get there. So firstly, they need to understand, and to understand what they want, they need to understand who they are. But that's probably the most important question that each person needs to have an answer for.
Thank you. I absolutely agree that clarity, and then it's a lot easier to determine next steps. But if people don't know what they want or where they're going, it's hard to move in a direction that can get them closer to that. And then I wanted to lean in a little bit here. We have just a couple minutes before break. Do you mind sharing about the amazing gift that you've made available to us?
I don't mind at all. I would like to offer listeners the opportunity to acquire either one of my first two books. The first one is No Boxing Allowed, which is basically about empowerment and self-intelligence. The second book is From Premenstrual Syndrome to Positive Mental Attitude, and that's a change management guide for women and men. It's not just something that women need to read, and that's very much about women removing the excuse of PMS and adopting a very positive mindset, and also changing the communication style that they use with their partners. And so the listeners have the opportunity to gain a copy of either one of those books.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for making those available. And listeners, thank you. And listeners, I promised I would let you know how you could access these amazing gifts that Nola and Kathleen have generously made available to you at no cost. It's really their gift to support and empower you on your journey. Here's how to find them and access them. If you're watching and listening to this show on the Voice America channel, if you look over to the right-hand side, you're going to see an orangish yellow writing where it says Radio Show Gifts. You simply click on that link, enter in your name and email address, and you'll see a world of amazing gifts, included the two that Nola and Kathleen have made available to you today. I encourage you to lean in, click on those links, and enjoy the amazing gifts to support you on your journey. If you're listening to the replay, here's the other way you can access those gifts. You can go to my website at www.yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Click on the radio show tab, and right on the left-hand corner, you're going to see free gifts. So click on that, and you'll have that same opportunity to enjoy those gifts. I encourage you to check out those links, lean in as we go to break here, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Join Rebecca Hall Gruyter this fall for a Women's Enrichment Retreat, November 13th, 14th, and 15th at the beautiful Westminster Retreat Center in Alamo, California, in San Francisco's East Bay area. Take time for you and step into your vision in a powerful and sustainable way. This is an all-inclusive retreat in a beautiful and nourishing environment, giving you plenty of time to relax, decompress, and refresh, while having the opportunity to connect with yourself and other heart-centered women on a deep level. To find out more, visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/WER.
Now you can take your favorite Voice America radio program with you anywhere. Sign up for our mobile app if you have an iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry. The Voice America Interactive Radio Player, powered by Aircast, gives you the freedom to listen to any of our programs, anywhere, live and on demand. No registration is required. Listen to your favorite Voice America hosts and discover new ones. Download the Voice America mobile app for iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry, powered by Aircast. Visit the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Success starts here. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com. It's your world.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that break and you got an opportunity to check out those free gifts. Let me tell you one more time how to find those. If you're listening to the replay, you can just go to my website, which is www.yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Click on the radio show tab, and right in the left-hand corner, upper corner, you'll see radio show gifts. And you simply click on that, and it will open up a world of amazing resources, including the 2 generous gifts that Nola and Kathleen are making available to you today. And while we were on commercial break and you were actively accessing the amazing gifts, there was a beautiful conversation that happened behind the scenes. And it started with both of my guests looking for connection and how they could connect both the relationship and soulmate side to personal power and business. And it was beautiful to hear how they found they were so integrated, and you can't have a business without people, and you can't have a successful business without people connecting in a positive way. So it was just really, really beautiful to hear that behind the scenes. And I wanted to give both Kathleen and Nola an opportunity to share one last thought or tip with us today. So Kathleen, do you mind sharing a last thought or tip with us?
Absolutely, thank you. There's a quote that I really love, and it's with real love, nothing else matters, and without it, nothing else is enough.
Beautiful.
So then the second thing along with that is that I want to share as sort of a tool or a secret, if you will, is love is not out there. I really learned this after my husband passed away, that the love in my heart for him and from him didn't go away, only his body went away. So love is within me, and all I have to do is tap into it. It isn't where it comes from somebody else or I give it to somebody else. First, I have to find it in myself, in my heart, and it's my natural vibration. So I like people to imagine that they're the sun, their essence is the sun, and that's the vibration of love, and that life goes on in front of us like clouds that just go on by like an eclipse, and then the sun shows itself again, and the sun is who I really am, which is love. And I can extend it 360 degrees around me and touch everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you. Do you mind reading that quote one more time?
Mm-hmm. With real love, nothing else matters. Without it, nothing else is enough.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that it is within ourselves. I appreciate that. Nola, did you have a last thought or tip that you wanted to share with us today?
I do, and it's actually interesting just how much in sync Kathleen and I are on this. To give my own example and power to that particular quote, I met the love of my life in the late 70s, and that person imprinted on my heart in a way that I can't explain to anybody because they cannot see inside my heart. But from a soul perspective, he is my one and only true soulmate in this lifetime. And despite the fact that we did not stay together, my love for him is eternal. And that's not the till death do us part love. That is an eternal love because of something I can't alter. I've distanced from that connection, because he has a life of his own. But I'm quite happy to love him and not be physically with him. And that's a really powerful place to be, that, we make compromises in our lives, and when we are with somebody and our heart is with somebody else, it makes life very challenging. And that was where my life tracked for 20 years. But now that I can make the choice and say, I do still love this man, I will always love this man, and that's just the way it is. And nobody can take that from me, and nobody necessarily needs to understand it. But it's very powerful for me because I'm very happy with that choice. The thing that I want people to understand is it comes from the movie Shall We Dance? And Susan Sarandon makes a comment in that movie about her husband in the movie, who's played by Richard Gere, that she wants to be a witness to his life and he a witness to her life. And to this love of my life, I witnessed his life for a period, and that was enough to sustain me for eternity. And so how short or how long, when somebody impacts on your life in a positive way, then it can nurture you for eternity.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing. And I do need to circle back in because we just have a couple minutes. But Nola, I really appreciate your heartfelt share with us this afternoon. Listeners, I want to lean into where we started our conversation today, really talking about choice and personal power and soulmates and relationships, that you were leaning into what it is you needed from us today, that you need this week to really support and empower you to move forward. And I hope in a positive way to bring more of yourself forward, to share more of who you are with all of those around you, because it does create powerful connections when we're willing to be transparent and share, become change agents in our lives for good, being willing to connect and give from our heart to another's, because we matter and they matter. And I want you to have relationships with yourself and with others in your life and with your business that are empowering, that are creating the life that you want to live, that you want to be in and lean into, that you are empowered and equipped to live your life on purpose and with purpose. And if I can have you take one more deep breath together, hand on your heart, hand on your head. Taking one more pause together. And making the choice today that's a yes to who it is that you want to be, that you are choosing to be, with each breath and each step. And may you fully step into your personal power and always, always bloom where you're planted and shine. Look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.
Thanks again for listening to the preceding program brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the preceding program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.